it's on, nothing will be wrong. There's no brand, there's no fame, it's up to you. The fast squash you'll be finding, whatever holds you back. I can't get it off. Tell me why, tell me why, tell me what you want. I don't know why, don't know why, don't know what to say. Tell me why, tell me why, tell me what you say. I don't know why, don't know why, too late, it's too late.
In this world, is the destiny of mankind controlled by some transcendental entity or law? Is it like the hand of God hovering above? At least it is true that man has no control, even over his own will. I am the observer of this world. Join me as we follow a group of misfits as they save the multiverse. The Lewis movie, Time Mayhem, opens up where we left off at the end of Bubble Buddy Origins, where Bubble Buddy confronts Lewis about the Time Blade and asks to use it, where we find out Lewis has no idea what he is talking about. Bubble Buddy realized he must have used it if he can't remember it, as it is one of the side effects of using it. Bubble Buddy hits Lewis over the head to help him remember, as we get a flashback from after the events IG Origins, when IG gives Lewis the blade to look after. Lewis uses it straight away after hearing IG's warning to go to high favorite era in history, the Vietnam War. Lewis ends up at a military camp where he is confronted by a sergeant who thinks Lewis is part of the special forces sent by McGraw. He takes the time blade of him and sends him to the barracks to get his uniform on, as he locks up the blade in his office. Here Lewis meets Koro and Doodle Bob for the first time and see the events of what happened in the Lewis movie, Return of McGraw. After Koro leaves, Lewis and Doodle Bob go through a portal to the captain's office to retrieve the time blade so he can go back to his own time. Lewis makes it back home, where he hides the time blade in his prison wallet for safekeeping. Back to present day, he remembers he left it there and hands it to Bubble Buddy, where he only agrees for him to use it, as long as he can go with him. They both arrive back to the events before evil Lewis kills 1 million people. Bubble Buddy and Lewis plan on changing the radio station to something more calming, as they remember that Free Bird was playing at the time and was his excuse for doing it. They change the song and go to the main road and seen that it worked and headed back to their own time to celebrate, where they end up in nothingness, where it is revealed by the god of death, the last thing alive, that McGraw made his wish to destroy everything. They realize that they not only changed the past, but they ended up changing the future as well. Death explains that if they disturb the timeline too much, it will collapse in on itself, eventually destroying reality. Lewis understands they can't save all of them as it disturbed the timeline too much, so they had to restore it to its original self, where Bubble Buddy had other plans. He could not just let his wife and child die. As he goes back to be with them, Lewis jumps on going back with him, where it causes the time blade to slip and fall, popping Bubble Buddy. Bubble Buddy explains that H understands that he has to let his wife and child die, as he was just grieving he was blinded. Bubble Buddy died, making Lewis do the hard decision to change the song back so evil Lewis will kill the 1 million people to restore the timeline. Lewis makes it back to present day as the timeline is restored, as he gets interrupted by the GOT to face a trial for disturbing the timeline. We pick up where we left off at the end of the Lewis movie, Time Mayhem, where Lewis is confronted and taken away by the GOT when IG walks in as they kidnap him and watch them leave. IG then asks the All-Stars if they know anything about the people who took Lewis, and they had no clue. Pa gave IG a new uniform she had made to represent the All-Stars. Megatron suggests they go to the CUM and ask around to see if they know anything, where they all agree. Jake decided to stay behind to look after the camp whilst the other left to Nevertime. When they got there they were greeted by some heroes where IG asks if they know anything and they show him a symbol what IG immediately recognized the knights had. Dexter explains that they are the guardians of time and they look after the timeline, keeping it safe from anyone who dares to disturb it. They knew this as there has been reported sightings of them throughout all of time. Dexter tells them to go visit Professor Psychotic, who can help them get to the location of the GOT. They arrive to the lab, where Psychotic gives them a time travel egg what will give them access to the end of time as long as they go the speed of light. The All-Stars set off using the egg as they travel the speed of light. They arrive at the GOT headquarters where Pa and IG go of the ship to look around for Lewis but are caught by some GOT knights. IG takes them out as Megatron comes in tank form to pick them up. They look all over till they find the courtroom where Lewis is being held. Megatron shoots a hole through the wall, giving Lewis an escape route, as he was just sentenced to death. Lewis escapes in the tank whilst getting shot at as a stray bullet hit IG in the back. As they are escaping, IG loads the time travel egg into Megatron's cannon and tells him to fire it in the air so back time they get on the ship it lands and blows up the GOT. They make it back to the ship where they narrowly escape the exploding city. Lewis confronts IG about killing all of those people and not caring in the slightest. Pa also tells him that something has changed in him as Lewis tells them that IG got shot and didn't even notice. Pa inspects it and finds blue liquid and some machine parts showing, giving the reveal that IG is part robot. IG takes a breather where he hears a voice in his head what wasn't his. They head to Red to ask him if he knew about this, where he gives them the truth about IG's past. Red tells the story of how IG was in an accident when he was younger and his father saved his life by putting his brain in a robot to give him a new body. But the company he worked for saw he wasted all the material on saving him. They killed him, as it cost the company millions. They decided to put IG in use by putting AI in control to follow out orders like assassinations and robberies to get all the money back, which was a great investment. Until he was tasked to kill Red one day when he deactivated him and reverted the controls back to IG. When he woke up he remembered nothing, so he took him under his wing and going on some adventures before later joining the All-Stars. When Red finished explaining, IG secretly left as he felt the I slowly taking back control. He headed back to the All-Stars camp to gather some personal items before he would go into hiding, as he didn't want the AI hurting anyone like his friends or family. Jake got killed by the AI as IG lost control for a second. As the others tracked him down, he fled to Japan to meet with a doctor who could help out. Meets with Dr. Mario as the AI takes over again, killing Mario so he could not get rid of him. The other arrive as the AI has took full control as it sees Megatron. It leaves IG to take over him as he seemed more powerful. Malware in Megatron body went to test out his new toy as the others later arrive to stop him. They all defeat Malware by having to kill Megatron, and they all left when IG took a small data chip from the corpse of his former teammate. IG and Pa thank Red and parted ways, where IG tells Pa about the chip he took and that he put it back into him. Pa is confused on why he would do that, as he explained that the AI changes and evolves with each thing it merges with, so now it has part IG and Megatron's goodness inside of it. Malware is present, as he appears on the ship's built-in hologram to expose the truth about the CUM. Malware explains that when IG got to the CUM, Dexter planted a bug on IG for the AI to take control and destroy the GOT, also stating that most members are their evil counterparts, as the real ones have mostly been captured or killed, meaning they are all evil. They are all in an agreement to expose the CUM and defeat them. We open up with IG and Pa telling Lewis, Red and his daughters about the CUM evil plan. They are all in agreement and plan on how to take it down by splitting up into two teams. IG's team would free the prisoners who are being held at Civil Labs, and Red's team would broadcast a message warning everyone on interdimensional cable. IG and Power arrive at Civil Labs where IG pretends he is the AI and has completed the mission to get inside, and the guards fall for it, giving them access to most heroes left. Meanwhile, Red's team is infiltrating the satellite whilst Malware delivers a speech to everyone to help fight against the CUM. They all meet back up as they prepare for war as them and many other arrive at Never Time to stop the CUM. IG, Power, Lewis and Red take the elevator as the other heroes hold of the villains. They arrive to the boss's floor where they find Psychotic is the one behind all of this. Suddenly a portal opened and McGraw came out back from the depths of hell. They all ran away as he shown of his new powers he gotten from a bet with the devil. They all regroup on Red's ship as they discuss what to do next. They think getting powers of a god for themselves will give them a fighting chance against McGraw. So they volunteer Lewis to die and talk with the guards, where he has a long discussion with them and eventually settle to take the powers along as he goes back and stays with the guards after finishing his mission. Lewis comes back to life and they are ready to fight as they all get in IG's ship to crash into McGraw's office to catch them off guard. They all split up fighting off McGraw's new sidekicks. IG jumped out of the window taking Kingpin with him to land in the pool down below, making Kingpin knockout. Red took the fight against Shredder, and ultimately won against him, leaving Power to fight Psychotic to pretended to be a weak guy, before waiting for Power to be distracted and stab her. Lewis fought against McGraw and was an even match as IG and Red rush over to Power, seeing her fatally wounded. Lewis sees this and decides to end it right here and now, taking McGraw and gathering all energy in the surrounding area. McGraw thinks he is going to die and panics as Lewis teleports back to the guard's domain, where he locked McGraw up in a cage so he cannot cause no more harm to the world. 5 months later, IG and Red meet up at a park in Manchester where there is a statue of Lewis for saving the multiverse again. Red and IG talk as Power is recovering in the hospital. Red is using some of his company resources to find out if Lewis is alive and well, but is still searching. We later learn that Malware has taken over the CUM by becoming the CEO to make sure nothing of this threat level happens again. Red's retaliation opens up with Lewis doing his duties as the God of Balance, where he is stopping a villain who is planning on disturbing the peace. He takes him to a prison cell in the God's realm filled with other world-ending threats and explains to them they are not getting out. We then see Egan Pa leaving the hospital as she is still recovering from her wounds as they plan on helping out Red solve the disappearance of Lewis's absence. We then see Red arriving at some temple ruins on an abandoned planet where he sees some ruins on the wall. Red calls Malware to see if he knows, as he tells him it's just Lewis' life in detail from start to when he disappeared. Red is still curious and decides to communicate with the gods, as that is what the end of the ancient words say. We then cut back to Lewis visiting McGraw to check he is still there, and McGraw gets curious about where Lewis takes these prisoners, as Lewis tells him he has to go and stop another threat. McGraw escapes his cage by breaking the bottom out and goes to the prison cells. Here he finds some people who used to work for him, as he makes them a blood deal to help him. In return he will set them free. They all accept and wreak havoc on Earth. We then see a montage of different villains destroying Earth, as we then see IG and Pa waiting for their ride to Red's ship, unaware of what is happening. Suddenly a hatch doors open below Pa and IG, falling through the infinite castle, where they are confronted by Musen, who asks IG and Pa to stop McGraw, as they are wondering why a villain would help them. As much as he would want to rule the world himself, he cannot if McGraw destroys it, so he is willing to lend them some resources, as he cannot get evolved himself, as he made a blood contract with McGraw, meaning if he breaks it he will die. Narkimi is the main recourse, as she can open the Hawksway to anyone anywhere. IG and Pa plan to meet up with Red for some help, as IG wishes Red was here. Narkimi fulfills that request and teleports him here. Meanwhile, Lewis is getting punished by the gods for letting McGraw free and is stripped of his power and rank of god. He is then sent back to his room, where he teleports to IG and the others after IG wishes for him to be there by accident again. They then go to McGraw, as Power stays behind to recover and face him alone when he is vulnerable. Red kills McGraw and he dies way too easy. They are all suspicious about this, so they plan to ask McGraw's right-hand man Psychotic about it. They arrive and go to face him, as we see him where he left off in the Psychotic episode. They confront him, as he flees, as they are distracted by IG's dad appearing, as he was an old co-worker of Psychotic back at Civil Labs. Lewis chases after him, as IG asks how his dad is still alive. Red reveals that the story he told him was a lie and he just wanted to protect him from the truth. Phil G tells IG about how he killed his mother to test the brain and AI merge before he did it to him to become the killing machine McGraw requested long ago. IG starts to remember some of his childhood with his mother and can't believe he would do such things to her. He then gets mad about this and kills his father for taking his heist mother away from him. Red comforts IG as they meet back up with Lewis. He tells them that Psychotic got away, as they all go back to the Infinity Castle to let IG rest and gather supplies. Narkimi tells them they have successfully fulfilled their contract and sends them all home, where they are now clueless about Psychotic's location. Red decides they all should take a holiday, as Psychotic can't do much on his own and they will get him when they have the chance. So IG and Pa stay with Red for a few months. After successfully escaping, Psychotic finds McGraw's dead body and decides to take it with him in an attempt to revive him. We later learn that Lewis got grounded by his mother after learning all about what he has been up to, and that the CUM successfully captured all the villains, destroying the world. The All Stars movie starts off showing us a look at 5 days before the Lewis movie, into the PowerPoint verse, where we see the gods have gotten an alert for a threat. They head to their lab, where the head scientist tells them that a monster called the Destructor has invaded the planet they were supposed to be protecting. We learn about this later on, as they had no idea what the Destructor is, so they locked it inside of a pocket dimension with a civilization with only one way in and out, keeping it locked up, so they can study on it to try and understand how to defeat it. The gods made a deal with the planet that it would not attack them, and would be able to coexist with them, and if it ever did invade they would help out. The gods agree on not helping out the last 2 survivors on that planet, as they will be dead in a few minutes by the Destructor. We then cut to see Rukia and her father entering a sacred temple what housed a blade, what is the only way in and out of their dimension. They use it and end up in the world we have been getting to know all this time. We then cut back to the gods, where they are scared that the Destructor will follow through the portal and spread to other planets, destroying them all with no way to stop it. They then decide to ban all multiverse travel for a few days, which explains the reference back in the Lewis movie, and to the PowerPoint verse. We then see IG Power, Red and his daughters 5 months after Red's retaliation, where they are parting ways after being on vacation together for a while. Red explains he has to take care of some things and will be a long time before they will see each other again. Just before leaving, Red hands IG a picture of his mother where he explains it's the last image left, as Filgy destroyed all other evidence of her existence to cover up the experiment. IG thanks Red as they part ways. IG and Power head to a storage locker where they find IG's old A86, what he got from Takumi Fujiwara after he retired street racing. Pa and Igor about to give it a run as they have not driven it for a while when they are interrupted by Rukia. Rukia explains to them that she needs their help to stop her father from destroying this world and tells them on how he plans to do it. IG and Power agree to help as they set off to go stop him when IG and Power ask Rukia some more questions. We then see Rukia's father stealing the blade they used to escape their world after losing it when they arrived to this one. Rukia's father exits the plane mid-air where IG and Pa ambush him to try and stop him. After a small battle, Rukia's father deflects IG's stun bullets to the plane engine, causing it to crash where they all meet back up. Rukia's father opens the portal after using the falling plane as a distraction. They all look and figure out how to stop the destructor from coming through as Rukia and her father have a heart-to-heart conversation on how it is wrong to do it. Rukia's father comes to his senses and agrees to close the portal with the help from IG. IG uses his rocket boots to reach it where he explains the only way he can close the portal is to go through it and tells IG to look after Rukia for him as he goes through. He will live in that dimension protecting the sword and figuring a way how to kill the destructor to get revenge. IG lands back on the beach with the others as he explains what happened where Rukia joins the All-Stars accepting IG and Power's offer. We learn by the end that they pick up their ship from the repair shop and set off on their next adventure. The Lewis movie, The Last Attack, opens 5 months after the All-Stars movie, which means Lewis has been grounded for over a year now. Lewis is in his room where he wishes he could just go on adventures again when all of a sudden a portal opens up in front of him. Lewis sees this as a sign and goes through it where he ends up in a place called the Lewis Society. There he meets many different versions of himself who introduce him, telling him he is the last one to join them, and he should go to the founder of the place who will fill him in on everything. We then see Red and his daughters arriving back on their 5-month mission discovering the unknown regions of the galaxy. They then get a call from Malware where he sees he is back and tells him that they have found Psychotic. Red thanks Malware and plans what to do. He decides to call IG and Lewis to take him down. We then see IG, Power and Rukia on their ship they recently got back talking when Red calls and fills him in on everything. IG agrees to help as they set off to meet up at the location. Lewis leaves the elevator to see no other than McGraw alive and healthy where he assures him he is a Lewis variant, as he has the same hair. Lewis then feels relieved as Red contacts Lewis to help them as he accepts and goes through Red's portal. McGraw is left there having to cancel his plans as Jared, sporting the same wig as McGraw, cancels the society self-destruction. We then cut to all of them arriving at Psychotic's second secret lab where he is caught off guard by Red and IG where they question him what happened to McGraw's corpse. He spills out everything about McGraw's plans and Red decides to take him with them as a prisoner in Red's ship. The whole team talks about what to do as they have little time to save all Lewises. IG comes up with a plan where they all agree on it as they arrive to the Lewis Society. Here they are caught off guard by McGraw waiting for them just like Psychotic said he would, as Jared comes in to say they have no more escape options as he activated a bubble shield to block all portals and people from leaving. The gang retreats to an alleyway where they change the plans. IG and Yuri will take out the bubble shield where Red will use IG's rocket boots to leave and get to his ship via the trash chute. Rukia, Pa and Lewis hold off McGraw as the rest of Red's daughters escort all the Lewises to the extract zone. IG and Yuri successfully shut down the shield as Red backs up to allow the Lewises to board. Rukia and Pa team up by freezing their feet, leaving Pa to use her blood arrow barrage to kill and injure Jod and McGraw. They then leave as McGraw is trapped by the ice, where Lewis has a chat with McGraw. Lewis shows mercy on McGraw by saving him when he knocked him out, as Lewis saw some goodness still left in him. IG and Yuri are escaping the exploding society, where Yuri jumps through the portal as IG drops the only picture of his mother on the floor. He goes back to retrieve it as he falls through the floor, causing him to make a run for it to the closest exit, whilst Red shows up just in time to save him. IG thanks Red for saving him, as he tells him the only reason he knew where he was because of the tracker in his suit Pa put in back in IG. The end of time. Ike sees that Lewis saved McGraw, as A explains he thinks he can change him, and he will be fully responsible for his actions. They then end up at the CUM, where Red made a deal with Malware to help take the Lewis variants back home. Lewis helps escort all the Lewises of the ship as he sees that McGraw has escaped. Lewis follows his wet footsteps to the CUM generator room, where McGraw threatens Lewis he will blow it up, killing everyone on Nevertime. Lewis has a heart-to-heart talk with McGraw, where he leaving McGraw to rethink his decisions. Lewis meets back up with everyone on Red's ship, where they discuss what to do next, as all of the multiverse's threats have been taken care of.